So as we all know, Alexander Volkanovski just moved up to the lightweight division, and not only did he prove that he belongs in that division and can hang with the contenders, but he proved himself that he has the capabilities to be champion. So I wanted to take a look today and take a look at every single lightweight contender. Can Alexander Volkanovski match up with them, and can he beat them? A lot of people would say yes because he just took on the champion. A lot of people think he won against Islam Makhachev, but I disagree with that. We're going to take a look at all the contenders in just a second. I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to my video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about Volkanovski. So let's start off with Islam Makhachev. Of course, there's not much to talk about here. Of course he can take on Islam Makhachev. He arguably won a fight. I'm one of those weirdos who thinks he won 4-1, but we're not going to talk about Islam. We're going to talk about the rest of the contenders. I am particularly interested in Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier because there were times in that fight. There were times in the fight where Islam chinned Volkanovski and then didn't pursue him because as either Islam was tired or he was threatened by Volkanovski or God knows what. Nobody knows, but he chinned Volkanovski and Volkanovski was clearly rocked, clearly hurt. He survived it, which is great. He proved himself to be a great fighter. However, I looked at my friend. We were sitting next to each other and I was like, I don't like that. If he stays at lightweight, I don't like that. A guy like Dustin Poirier would not let that slide. The fight would be over right now if he got chinned. And on top of that, Volkanovski, he threw a lot of punches head first, going down, charging forward. And that's how he ended up landing on Islam Makhachev. I think both Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier, I can see Volkanovski charging in head first, Charles Oliveira either cracking him with something and snatching up a guillotine, snatching up a submission, because Charles Oliveira, if he has his back for as long as Islam Makhachev did, he's not getting up. I'm sorry. I'm picking Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier to beat him. Dustin would chin him, and Dustin would not let up. Dustin would, when Dustin Poirier smells blood, that is the last guy you want smelling blood. You know what I mean? If Dustin starches you, Volkanovski is going to sleep. The problem I have in saying this, though, is Alexander Volkanovski, I gave him absolutely no chance to beat Islam Makhachev. Then he came in and proved us all wrong, so maybe he could do the same. However, both Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier, I would for sure pick over Volkanovski, but he could prove me wrong. One of my favorite fighters ever. I don't mean this in any disrespect for Volkanovski. Justin Gaethje's an interesting one. I don't know how that one would go because Justin hits like a truck. No matter how he's looked in his last fights, Dustin hits like a truck, okay? If Volkanovski had a little bit of problems taking on Makhachev's punches, I don't like the fact that Gaethje's there, but he's open for the grappling. Volkanovski could take him down. The dude was out wrestling Islam Makhachev. I think Volkanovski would be able to take that to the ground, but would Alexander Volkanovski want to take that to the ground? I don't know. Question, that one's a little bit up in the air. I would lean towards Volkanovski against Gaethje, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gaethje just changed him. The biggest problem for me is that there were so many shots in that fight where it's like, ooh, you're lucky that's not some other guy in the lightweight division hitting you, Volkanovski. You know what I mean? I hope you guys understand what I'm saying in this sense. Moving on. Beneil Dariush should be very interesting. The striking game, I would give the edge to Volkanovski, but Beneil is also a great, great striker. The scrambles would be even more interesting because something Volkanovski's so good at is the scrambles, and that's something Dariush exceeds at. That would be a great matchup, and that one's a little bit more 50-50 for me. I would lean towards Volkanovski, but that's like a 60-40 type thing. I'm not too sure. Michael Chandler, that would be absolute fireworks. Could you just imagine those two chinning each other? That'd be great. I'd actually lean towards Volkanovski in that one. I like that matchup. I don't think Michael Chandler is exactly championship material. However, he can win at any time of the day. Rafael Fiziev. Interesting again. I feel like Fiziev is a little bit smaller. Am I wrong in saying that? Would he be a little bit more matched up with Volkanovski? I don't know. A little bit interesting. As you go down the division with Fiziev, Gamrot, he would beat Dos Anjos, Jalen Turner. I don't know. I still don't know how he stacks up with the rest of the division. The guy that I'm sure would beat Volkanovski is Arman Tsarukyan. Nah, I'm not sure. I pick Arman Tsarukyan, but I'm not sure that Volkanovski would win. It's just, as you get down to the top 15, or as you get down to like 10-15, it becomes more of a question. Like Damir Ismagulov, I could see a world where Volkanovski loses to him. You know what I mean? Drew Dober, especially. Drew Dober is a guy who is willing to throw down, has an iron chin, just like, oh, could you imagine that matchup? Drew Dober versus Alexander Volkanovski. We'd probably never see that, but oh my God, would that be fireworks? Wow, I really want to see that fight now. I never thought about that. But the reason that I was making this video is I wanted to talk about Oliveira and Poirier mostly, as well as Gaethje, Chandler, Fiziev. I just think he really loses to Charles Oliveira, and I think he loses horribly bad to Dustin Poirier. I think that is a horrible matchup for him. It's kind of like I was talking about Chandler when Poirier was matched up against Chandler. Sometimes Dustin Poirier has those matchups where it's just like, I know he's going to win this one. Yeah, I mean, and Volkanovski is one of those for me. If Volkanovski were to win the lightweight title and actually beat Makhachev and like have the title, Poirier should be calling for a title shot, or would have been, and he would have won that fight, and then he would have finally accomplished his dreams, 25 paid in full. It would have been a great fight. So Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, I'd pick to beat Volkanovski for sure. The rest of the division, I would probably give the edge to Volkanovski, but it's up in the air. I did not like that he wasn't taking some of Islam's shots well. And it's not like Islam has pillow hands. I'm just saying he definitely doesn't hit as hard as most of the division. That's my problem. This is where I want to leave it up to you guys. I want to know what you think. How do you see this fight going? How do you see all of these fights going? Is there anyone you think Volkanovski would lose to for sure? We know he can beat Islam. The question remains the rest of the division, because we know he's coming back up to lightweight eventually. So I can't wait for it. Regardless, I kind of want to see him vacate the belt and just move up. That'd be really fun. Regardless, guys, let me know what you think down below, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, please consider hitting the like button. It would help out the channel a ton, and subscribe if you're brand new. Check the description down below for links to all my other channels, and if you want to hear more fight talk about anything MMA related, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care.